Hello, hello, hello. This is Tony Mike Gravel coming to you from Chicago. As usual, we got some good stuff. I've got people to thank as usual. As usual, Natalie D comes through for me and Kathleen Estrada. And then I also tripped across an interesting one in 3B this morning. Let's get it going, shall we?
No, I spoke to you before. My name's Teresa Jones. Remember I told you I had been here since 8:30 and I had been waiting to talk to someone. I haven't talked to anyone yet.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll start calling.
Your Honor, I'm going to leave and go on to judge. I'll be right back. Attorney Wagner, you have my authorization to put it on the record. I trust you. I trust you. You know what the agreement is.
Sounds good.
Attorney Wood, are you around? Oh, she didn't vanish. Okay, I'll be back.
That's why he take a 5-minute break. The judge.
Well, you have to on break. You can't do it online.
I didn't do it on the phone because I was going to be late. You have to have been online. A motherfucker too arrogant.
Excuse me, Mr. The court can hear everything that you're saying. Please mute your device. Talking bad about the judge is not in your favor. Trust me.
This is file number 23646FY, People versus Allison Faye Osmick. Ms. Osmick is here with her attorney, Mr. Paul Gibson. She entered a plea to attempted resisting, obstructing, and impaired driving.
Indeed, you did.
That was at the time of a pre-exam conference on April 25th. The matter was set for sentencing for May 11th. I'm not sure what happened on that date, but it got continued to June 5th.
Okay, so this is Allison Osmick. I've had her on other videos, I'm sure. Her name is familiar to me. I think I've done a bunch of videos, but I can't find them. I don't know where they are. This one is just interesting in terms of what happens in the whopper she tries to sell the judge.
And we're ready for sentence today. Daniel Frazine has prepared a summary report, screening and sentencing report. I've reviewed the police report, and Deborah Davis is here from the prosecutor's office.
Deborah Davis.
Mr. Gibson, what would you like me to know?
The defendant and I went over the written report, and she indicates that some of the material in here, she believes that it's her ex-mother-in-law, I guess, who she lives with. You know,
Paul Gibson puts in a good effort here, as he always does, but he sounds unsure of himself in everything he says. And given the fact that he's representing this client, I understand.
Says that she doesn't like her, and so she said that she's said some things that maybe painted her in a bad light. As far as this bottle of vodka, she said it was just like a collector's type thing. It had nothing to do with anything inside the bottle. But the defendant did indicate to me that she
has a nostalgic attachment to empty vodka bottles. That's where we're starting.
Now has her birth certificate. She needs to go to the Social Security Administration to get her Social Security card, but that she says she has a job lined up at American Axle and she's hopeful to start that job soon. She wants to stay working. She needs to support her children. And so she's asking for a chance on probation to prove herself, to prove that she can do these things. She indicates that she can live a clean and sober lifestyle. She just needs help, and probation is something that can help her. So she's open to the help that probation can give her. She would ask for any jail time for the court to consider her scheduling that jail time at a later date once she is working full time, and she would be asking for work release. Thank you.
Deborah, what's your thought here?
Your Honor, I did want to update. I just pulled up her on-base file, and on 6/2, we received the lab report from the substances in her blood, and Michigan State Police Lab indicates that 2 things were detected and quantified. One was amphetamine at 141 nanograms per milliliter, and then methamphetamine at greater than 300 nanograms per milliliter. So as much as probation is probably helpful to her, it appears that this drug issue is a huge one. And as Your Honor says, we have a lot of failed probation.
So she's dirty and y'all stink.
On the methamphetamine cases. And although this isn't necessarily a methamphetamine case as far as a plea, it's a methamphetamine case. And I'm not sure if she's been testing as part of her bond conditions or if she's been clean or not. I can say that in reviewing this case, her behavior toward the police officers was pretty egregious. I mean, there is the request from Deputy Penn to get some repayment for the damage to his clothing. He was kicked by her. I know she had said before she doesn't really recall doing that, but when she has meth and amphetamines in that amount in her system, she probably doesn't recall a lot. This was a dangerous situation for the officers where her vehicle was located so far off the road across this drainage ditch of water trying to get to her. She's lucky that she wasn't more seriously injured herself because there was not a quick way to get around to get to her. So with that, I believe that some jail time is probably appropriate for some forced sobriety, and then a probation after that would probably be more successful if we can get a handle on her sobriety and ensure that she's not under the influence of any substances so that she can have the best chance at success on probation. Thank you.
Allison, I'm going to give you the last word, but let's hear from Daniel. Daniel and I discussed this last week. He is pretty discouraged, frankly. Daniel, what else would you like to say?
Well, I think I included pretty much my thoughts in the report, but to emphasize a few of those things. As with most people with substance abuse issues, whether they don't recall things correctly or they want to paint themselves in a better picture. I have some suspicions. She told me that the issue with her, not really mother-in-law, but the kid's grandmother not liking her. I can see there would be some problems with that, but when she said that she went on a 3-hour walk and then came back, and that's when this happened. And then the grandmother says that she found that bottle of vodka, and she says it's a memory keepsake. You know, it's a little suspicious, but, you know, without a video or something, I mean, I guess it could go either way. I think with the background, the history here, with what happened to these officers and having to discharge a taser 4 times, which only 2 times actually worked because the barbs didn't plant the way they were supposed to, so she only got actually a electrical current twice, but that's pretty severe. Then there was the exposure to the PPP exposure to his face and eyes and mouth, which the Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund is requesting the $777.54 for reimbursement for some testing and whatever medical was involved with that. Again, looking at this really is basically a meth case with worse issues with the driving. And we all know how those go. And with her past history and her speaking to her, I think that a forced amount of sobriety, as well as really when you look at what happened with the officers, I think 60 days is more than merited. I would suggest that she go serve them immediately and then come to a 2-year probation and then set up testing, regular weekly testing, rather weekly meetings. That'll give her the opportunity to be successful if she really wants to embrace that. That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Osmick, what would you like me to know?
Here we go.
Well, when this all happened, I was held down and drugged. Like, I ran away from this place. The only reason I drove is because I was trying to get away from this person that held me down, and he like shot me up with drugs. I didn't even know what it was. He did this, and then I ran to get away. And that's when all that happened with my car.
I mean, I suppose it's theoretically possible, but somebody pinned me down and injected me with drugs is a hard sell. I'm sure it's happened in the history of humankind, but that's a tough one.
Like, I had no choice. He held me down and like injected me. And so then when he got away from me is when I took my keys and I ran because I was trying to get away. And I mean, I have been sober right now. Like this whole time I've been sober and I've been trying to get my life together. I have this job already lined up at Axel. I already had an interview and everything. And I just really think that I can do the probation and be a good citizen in this community. Like that was a very scary thing.
So you're with me on this.
Hi, this is Judge Middleton. Is Autumn available? Yes, I would instantly. All right, bye. We're going to an instant test, see what's in your system right now.
Judge is like, yeah. Hit the speed dial for Autumn because I'm not feeling sobriety at this very moment.
You're very thin. I've known you for several years, and I've watched your dissipation.
I'm really serious about getting my stuff together.
Also, I'm not quite buying your American Axle thing. You don't even have a Social Security number. Daniel, what did you find out about the T-shirt place that she always told us that she worked at?
When I spoke to the manager there, he said, when the date of this report would have been, well, it just says June 1st, but I think I actually spoke to him a week before that. But he said she hadn't worked there for over 2 months, and I clarified that with him, which would put her unemployment or termination from there prior to this offense.
Covert Design could put her to work.
She said this was the reason that she was terminated, but he said it was 2 months. I did call American Axle. They said that she did fill out a form. She could not verify, and it was that she couldn't see that they were holding it for her. She says it's not completely impossible for her to go through the process, and then they asked for the paperwork and she not have it, and she could not see that there was a job being held for her. She did see that she did apply for it. That's all I can say.
Well, let's go do a drug test, and we'll see what it shows here this morning.
And I also, I'm sure you saw it, but there was a reimbursement for the sheriff I put on there.
Yes. Autumn was reading my mind. She was already ready to come up. Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
I left this.
What case are you here on? Just, I don't, which case are you here on? No, just visiting? All right, nice to see you. I thought maybe you, let me see it.
Oh yeah, she's always in trouble.
This is a friend of mine, and
It's hoping to come in September, but my grandkids want to go home early. But I brought you number 2.
All right.
I told you I would bring them to you as I get them. So,
is this for me?
Yes, sir.
All right, I have a collection of these in my treasure box.
Congratulations. I just wanted to let you have it. I was hoping to come in September when I get the 3rd one, but
I'll be here every other
Tuesday. I'm out in Arizona right now,
are you
so
really?
I might have to send it in the mail.
Good for you. I'm going to tell everybody about it.
All right.
All right. This girl could use a little bit of that. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
If I could spend those, I'd be rich.
There you go.
That's the charming
That's something you can't buy with money.
Congratulations.
All right. Nice to see you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
It'd be nice to have a lot more of those popping in.
Yeah. They're always welcome.
I'm sorry.
He's a good guy.
I'll delete all this sweet stuff in the future.
And did a good job in the program. And
we can't be having
periodically people come back just to tell me how they're doing, which is gratifying. And a lot of people have given me their AA coins. And I have a treasure box full of different things that go in there. Good morning, Mr. George. Good. we're doing a test on this defendant. You got Mr. Miller. Any sign of him? And then Lori has James, not James T. West, the other one.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet because you got to figure that guy was in a similar place to the current defendant at some point, but turned it around.
Today's just kind of a regular day. I had some civil matters, just 3 sentences, a landlord-tenant and small claims docket. And there just seems to be enough time for everything we need to do.
That's what I'm saying, Kelmer.
Ms. Osmick admitted to marijuana, but she's also positive for methamphetamine and denies use.
All right, thank you. Well,
So other than the marijuana and the meth, she's totally clean.
in the normal scheme of things, marijuana is lawful. But you have a bond condition of no drugs or alcohol. And I'm not trying to be unkind, but you look like methamphetamine.
I'm so skinny.
But you weren't this skinny. You look like a popsicle
I
stick.
haven't lost any weight or.
Anyway, what else would you like me to know?
I just really want to get my life together, and I feel like jail is not going to do it. Like, I have a whole job lined up and everything. I really want to do this for my kids, and that job would be perfect for me to get a car, to get everything in order.
I think it would be good also. You were very, very disoriented. They didn't mention marijuana in the lab test, but I thought the representation was you'd also used marijuana. You don't have a very clear recollection of this, but you were way off the road. I don't even know how you got to where you were.
Honestly, I don't know either.
And this Amish man found you at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was terrible once the police got there, and it was bad all the way around.
I've never heard the sentence, an Amish man found you at 3 o'clock in the morning before in my life. And I've lived a long time.
Well, I feel like, man, he shot me up with something, and I thought it would be more than just that. Because I don't remember anything.
Yes, I'll show that.
It was very scary.
All right. On the impaired, we have 6 days jail credit, Daniel? 16 days.
16, Your Honor.
Or 16 days credit, 16 days.
Happy birthday.
We need 0 days to serve concurrent with the attempt R&O. 2 counts of attempt R&O. We'll do those concurrently. Daniel has judgment based on experience.
She's been spending most
and
of her life
also experience
living
with
in
this
an Amish
particular
paradise.
defendant. And we just don't know what to do. We have previous drug charges with failed probations way back 20 years ago, and then more recent stuff in the 20s, 21.
I'm really trying to I really want to get my life together.
I don't disagree with that, but I've watched you circle downhill, and it's not pleasant to watch.
That's why I want to go uphill now.
All right, we're going to start with 60 days of forced sobriety. Do a 24-month probation with 136 days in jail. Credit 16. Gave you
Then I'm
100
gonna lose that opportunity at us.
There'll be another opportunity 60 days from now. You're positive for methamphetamine, you're positive for marijuana. You're not supposed to be using marijuana. You're not certainly supposed to be using methamphetamine, and you were an unguided missile who almost killed yourself and injured these police officers.
I'll have another clip, which is way worse than this.
The 136 ordered, 60 are deferred, 62 due now. The fine is $0. $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee. I'm even going to waive your attorney fee, although Mr. Gibson has certainly earned it. $960 probation oversight fee. You could be done earlier, but we've got a total restitution of the police reimbursement is $255, and then the restitution is $778. And there was something else, clothing or something?
I didn't have a list of that.
It did rule in his clothing. I don't think he gave us a cost on his.
I'll just leave it at that. Other expenses.
It's
all right.
Isn't it?
No drugs and no alcohol. Test on demand. Get a social security number. That's kind of on us. I should have made you do that 20 years ago, but certainly.
I had it then.
Yeah.
I just lost it in between.
Your test is positive for methamphetamine, and that didn't just happen by accident.
Amish rite of passage.
You're not admitting, and so there's a lot you're not admitting to yourself. This is going to affect your driving record, but you're going to do some forced clean time starting now. Let's add those totals up. $2,118 in 2 years. I gave you a PR bond. No, it was a cash or surety bond. It doesn't need money.
Mennonites.
I believe that's posted to
No, it
a
was quick bail bonds. All right, Miss Osmick, I just feel frustrated. But you're going to do some jail time. You're going to do it now. And then when you get out, you'll be clean, and there'll be an opportunity at American Axle if there is.
Can I tell my ride that?
Yeah, we'll tell them.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna's out in the parking lot.
Don't worry, I stayed for the cops. I know my
She's in a
people.
red truck. Tell my, I guess. Okay.
What's his name?
Gotcha.
I know where there's free lodging.
Survive. Wanna.
Okay, I got this one from Kathleen Estrada. This really is a fate worse than meth. Sure, with meth you might die. You probably will. But we're talking about something much more sinister. This guy might end up married. Don't worry, you won't understand a thing Boomhauer says, but you can hear the judge.
Well, after I speak freely for a moment. All right. This is cause number CR 21-308. This is a sanctions court hearing for Mr. James Rive. Mr. Rive, one of the conditions of your community supervision is that you cannot associate with known felons. I understand that your girlfriend, Miss Crystal Ferguson, I know her to be a convicted felon out of this court. Do you know that she's a convicted felon out of this court?
I didn't ask, sir, Your Honor.
Do you intend to marry her?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, so I'll tell you what. The only way that you're not going to violate your community supervision by being with Ms. Ferguson is if you marry her. I'm not telling you to get married. I'm just telling you that if you're married to a convicted felon, the odds of the law, we can't tell you not to associate with your spouse.
Okay, I'll take the prison right now, Judge. Just put me in. Just put me in.
You're not going to get married. You're going to be in violation of your community supervision, and that will eat you up in prison.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
All right, so go ahead. Speak freely.
I just want to apologize for being back in here so quickly. I had to bid on probation. I apologize to state probation, everyone that it concerns. I have, first time I've ever in my career of probation had to come back in the courtroom on my probation. And I do understand we have been together for 4 years already, living together for 4 years.
Nailed it, David.
And she was
Nailed
with me during my time of my mom and dad, brother all dying in 2019. And we are honestly going to get married. We're not considering, whoa, we are going to get married. I don't know how soon we can make that happen. I will make it happen as quickly as possible, Will. And until then, I guess I will separate. We can live in separate houses or whatever down there, and I'll keep my distance as far as I can until we can set a date to get married.
He just can't resist that hot convicted felon action.
I just asked for continuance and not revoke my probation today.
Well, you're not here on a revocation. This let's call this a warning shot. That's what sanctions court is. It's a warning that if you don't correct your behavior, if you don't correct issues, and this is the only issue I have down for you. I see that you're a little bit delinquent on your community service. You started working that. I don't see any notes that you're not paying, so everything else tends to be in line. But this is a major contention that the probation office has, and you understand the reason for that condition, right? You understand the reason we don't allow convicted felons to hang out with other convicted felons.
In my mind, I can understand a convicted felon that's still on paper. I can understand I'm not associated with someone that's been convicted and off of paper for 5, 6, 7 years. I don't really understand that.
But on paper or off paper, a convicted felon still they are. It's about associating with people with criminal records. You put a bunch of people with criminal convictions together,
they get in trouble. Kind of like the barbershop. Yeah, you're around the barbershop.
They get in trouble. He's kind of charming. He really is. He can't get out of his own way, but the defendant here is kind of charming.
Stop logging in. You get a haircut.
Whether they're on probation or not on probation doesn't change that. All right, so you understand what I've told you. I've given you the warning shot. I've told you. I've told you kind of the way the law views that. If you're married, I can't take a problem with that. If you're not, then you're just defying your probation conditions, and it's going to get a motion to revoke. You're going to come in here and probably heard that country song about love got me into prison.
Love got me out. Oh, rendition to have a little fun.
You need the words of that song. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
You need to meet with them? All right.
You might need to go see Larry.
All right, I want you to go across the street, check in with Mr. Gann. Let him know tell him what you told me today, what your plans are. Listen to what he has to tell you. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Well, I wasn't really worried about it, so I had to sort of do this thing today and I have to
Well, I'm glad you wore that mask. Thank you, sir.
Oh, man, I got to get together.
Run. Run like the wind. Do not look back. But he won't listen to me. He won't listen to me. There are future charges. There are future charges stemming from this. If it's not a violation, it'll be a DV. One way or the other. Sure as I'm sitting here. Then they're going to end up Then they're gonna end up on Biggin's Love Gone Wrong series. That's how this ends. That's how this ends, people. Ultimately, it's just more content for Biggin. That's what we've got going on here. All right. Don't enjoy country music into this. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. All right. That's what I have. That's what I have for Monday. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. I will see you soon.